Good morning. Welcome to my garden, Lilac Hill. You can see we finally had our big snowfall of the year. It's been snowing for 2 days now. The grass is covered. It's probably about 6 inches of snow. It's very pretty and it's very quiet. Sometimes I hear cars trying to get up the hill out of Mowat Bay where we live. The hill is quite steep. So what I'm going to do is walk the property and we're going to go all the way around, and as I go I'm going to knock the snow off the shrubs because my experience has been any snow for a long period of time can get quite heavy, and I have had shrubs break under the weight. So as I pan around now, that's Terry's workshop. There's some tracks in the snow. You can always see what kind of animals have come through by their tracks. It looks like a cat. And there's the hills, Mowat Bay. I'm just gonna step into the snow and you can see no one's walked on this yet. So this is my first step into the beautiful fresh snow. That's our driveway down to the road. And one of the first plants I'm going to go and knock the snow off of is the cover on the spring blooming Daphne. You can see the cover is weighted down. So I got these sort of heavier gloves on. I'm just gonna do that. It just helps the cover to not bend right over and break. And you can see where I've come from now with my steps. These other shrubs I'm not going to worry about. Even the big hydrangeas in the corner, they can stay. But look how beautiful this is. And it's so quiet. It's beautiful out. So now we'll go across the front of the lawn and then we'll come up the other side, and that will be my 360-degree walk in the beautiful snow. Here's our front. The lawn looks a lot better under the snow, but it's a fairly big space. There's the front of the house where I have all of the hostas in the pots. They've been pulled up against the house and back. This is where I've come from now. My tracks. Okay, so let's carry on across the lawn. Let's see what's happening on this side. Look at the apple tree. As I get closer, the apple tree looks particularly beautiful with the snow. This is such an old tree. She's a real beauty. It's even got this sort of like big hole in the bark. And this beautiful moss. The moss is just clinging onto the tree. I'll have to come back and get some pictures of this tree and the moss and the snow. It's really quite beautiful. All right, so this is the front garden. Looks very small when you can't see the shape of the edging. But we're getting quite a bit of snow. And there's the front of the house and my trail where I just came from. Just tuck my fingers into my glove there. Euphorbia. Interesting form on that with the snow on it. It's so pretty out. Okay, now this choisya coming up. Well, actually, let's just stop and admire the big rhododendron. This is in bud. Every branch has a flower bud for spring. It's beautiful with the snow coming down. You can really appreciate this plant. It's a tough plant. Okay, now this is the side that comes around towards the triangle bed. This planting in here is primarily white, but you can get a good idea about my pruning. So this choisya plant, I was going for a sort of slope look, and when I stand back and look at it, it looks kind of stupid. So this whole corner has to come off and be around its form. It really looks funny. So that'll get done. Oh, this little japonica, that's not a japonica. I can't remember what this is. He needs his snow knocked off. Oh, so pretty. This little shrub is underrated. Oh, this one too. See, again, if you don't take the snow off, like the choisya, it could split in the middle. This choisya wasn't the one that split. My other choisya split right down the middle about 4 winters ago and was completely damaged, and it's taken about 4 years for the plant to recover. Just give this a good shaking. Get right in there. Get right in there and shake off all this snow. Oh, it smells wonderful. The plant has a very interesting smell. But this is just a preventative measure to make it safer from the weight. Okay, then looking back, the other side of the giant rhododendron. This plant just keeps on going. Very big rhododendron. All right, step over here and then I can pan around. And this is the chicken run garden with the weeping cherry. And there's a big old lilac right there. These plants are obviously here. I'm not going to do too much work down there, shaking off things, because I don't want to fall. It drops off quite drastically. But just really beautiful seeing the form of all the plants. With the snow on the branches. Oh, kitty cat tracks. Interesting, you can see the paths of all the animals as they come through the garden. Different animals, deer tracks, cat tracks. Sometimes we've even had cougars come through. And you can see the paths that they make. All right, so this is really lovely. The weeping cherry. This entire chicken run garden is going to be designed around this weeping cherry. Next year, well, I guess it is this year, and then as soon as spring comes, we can work the land. We're going to be fencing this to give us a nice green wall of cedar hedging, and just another way to enclose the garden in greenery. All right, so I'm carrying on up the hill. Look at that beautiful scene. That's off into my wildflower area. Beautiful butterfly bush. Had quite the winter last year. It hasn't been as cold as last year when we went to the minus 10 and 12 and it was so icy. This plant really suffered, but it pushed back, and I'm sure it'll do the same thing this year. These little shrubs I'm not too worried about taking the snow off of. And this snow won't last. That's one thing with the snow in our area, is that once it comes, it kind of goes just as quickly. Well, this is one I'll take. Oh, look at more cat tracks. This is a plant that looks quite weighed down. The beautyberry. It's going to cover my finger. Oh yeah, the beautyberry. So as I shake the snow off, it just helps the plant to stand back up straight. That's better. See, it came up about 8 or 9 inches because it was weighed down. Some plants can take the weight of the snow better than others. Be careful not to get too close to anything I can trip on. Look at the lilac. Isn't that gorgeous? The way the snow is just sitting right in between two little leaf buds or flower buds. So it's just sitting there. I'm getting lots of inspiration for some photography. Later on, I'll come back out and photograph the garden. Some of these beautiful forms that are really only going to probably even last for today, because like I said, once it starts to warm up, this will melt very quickly. Watch where I'm walking. I don't trip on anything. I've already been out once to feed the birds. Just a little bit of seed. I only feed the birds when I'm home because of the cat predators. I have to watch them, make sure they're okay. These lavender could probably have the snow taken off. They're almost completely buried. That's another Daphne. The only thing is I'm not too confident about stepping into there because I don't want to step on anything and I don't want to trip over anything. So I think that Daphne's okay. Oh, I guess I am going in because I do want to take the snow off of the upright St. John's wort. I know there's a block in here. Oh yeah, that's better. Well, she's really trussed up in there. There. Good. I don't risk hurting the peonies this time of year. St. John's wort. Nice plant. Really impressed with this plant as a winter interest plant. A little bit of winter height. Okay, I'm going to go back out exactly the way I came. Oh, toe hit the block. And I know there's a bunch of sort of debris under here, so I'm not going to walk under there. Just go over here and have a quick look at the hosta enclosure. Not going to open the gate though. It's so pretty. Everybody's nestled, and oh, and in the distance you can see where I've put the dome on the Camellia Taylor's Perfection. And that plant is in full bud. It loves being under the eaves of the shed, and it gets dappled sun, and it stays nice and moist, and it's in the acidic soil that it prefers. So I'm really expecting big things from that plant, getting it in the right location. Oh, I just kicked my driftwood sculpture. So it's just really pretty out. And again, I gotta watch where I walk. The garden bed looks so small with all the snow. And there's one more shrub over there that I want to take the snow off of, but this is the choisya that broke about 4 years ago. It was it was at least 2 times this big, and it literally snapped right down the center of the trunk under the weight, and it still has a scarred stem. I guess it doesn't really show in the snow, but anyways, that's one of the reasons this plant is under the eave now. I didn't think it was going to come back. Over half the shrub was gone, and I felt really bad because I was admiring it in the heavy snowfall, thinking, wow, look at that big lollipop ball on top of the choisya. Isn't it beautiful? And I left it. I didn't do anything. Winter came and went. Spring came, and oh my gosh, the entire plant just fell apart right down the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to film the beautiful box. I'm not going to worry about it for taking the snow off of. But I do want to do this compact strawberry arbutus. This plant has yet to find a home, in the proper home in the garden. It's not staying in this pot. The pot is gorgeous, but it's just not in the right place. But it does have some nice winter protection. It's under some felt. Water can still get in and water it, but Hopefully it's frost protected. Pull all this off. Yes, I know. That's just so much better when you're not all covered in snow, right? Yes, I know. I'm gonna take care of you. There we go, nice and fluffed off. I'm just gonna enjoy a few more minutes of quiet. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. And I just enjoy the peace and serenity of the snow. I know it's not gonna last. Doesn't bother me in the least that it's snowing, except I have to go and uncover the car because the realities of work tomorrow. But again, after living in Chilliwack in the Fraser Valley, one of the worst areas for snowfall and high wind, living in Powell River and only driving 6 minutes to work is pretty nice change. And I'm just enjoying the garden. Watch where I'm walking. I just want to get somewhere so I can end where it's really beautiful. On this lovely, quiet winter morning with the snow falling on my garden. And thank you for watching.